Coming up on Mic'd Up. Why I love the new year? It's the blank pages mindset. Writing our story one page at a time. And think about it this way. When we reflect and we realize that a page is written and maybe we're not proud of it, right? Something you've done, a bad day, a bad moment. We can change the narrative. We can write that next page, right? Doesn't mean that history is deleted necessarily, but it means that we've course corrected, and we've gone on, and we can be the change that we wish to see in the world when we get mindful about it, and we think about it. I've made plenty of mistakes in my life, and the best thing I can do is adjust and update and be a better version of myself, and then go and put that out into the world. And the other stuff still exists, but it's in the past. I'm today. I'm doing the thing in the moment with you right here, right now. And so just realize that, God willing, we get the next day, the next blank page. Take it one page at a time and write your story. Welcome to Mic'd Up. I'm your host, Mike DeChocho, and on my show, I interview entrepreneurs, award-winning authors, entertainers, business leaders, athletes, and other talented individuals who I personally invited to join the show to inspire you to be brave and bold in pursuit of your dreams. If you dig this show and are looking for more inspiring content from incredible people, click the subscribe button and you'll be notified of each episode release. Subscribing is free and it means the world to me that you've chosen my channel to tune into. You can give a gift of thanks and appreciation for providing this content to you. Simply visit patreon.com/mikedup, MIKEDUP. Any amount is greatly appreciated and totally unexpected. I welcome you to connect with me on my other social channels as well. All links are clickable in the description to make it even easier to connect. Thank you again for tuning into Mic'd Up. Enjoy the show. Hey guys, welcome to Mic'd Up. I'm Mike DeChocho, your host, and I'm doing something special today, something a little bit different for the show, something I haven't done yet in over 2 years of running and hosting this show. I'm flying solo. I always have a guest on the show because I absolutely love showcasing somebody else's story, and I'm intentional about who is on the show as part of the mission and serving the mission of the show. So it's uncomfortable for me to actually just be me. I'm telling my story today, but also I'm highlighting 2021, some of my biggest wins, what I've been grateful for. I also want to make sure that I'm connecting with you on a more personal level so you guys get to understand your host and know me a little bit better. Maybe you're new to the show, and some of you have been here from the beginning, and maybe you don't know a ton about me and you want to know a little bit more. This is the episode for you, but also people who know me well. This is for you as well, because I'm going to be talking about, like I said, the wins, the gratitude from 2021 going into 2022. This is coming out in the beginning of the new year. Super excited about that. I'm doing this intentionally, being uncomfortable, knowing that it's pushing me out of my comfort zone. And that's where greatness happens, is when you're outside of that zone. And working with my coach and a few other people who just said, Mike, you have to do this. I'm actually going to give those shout outs in a second. But there's power in getting uncomfortable. That's part of my message today. So I just want you to know that me doing this is something I've wanted to do for a long time. And being honest with you and transparent, I've talked myself out of it. I always found another guest, and I've had 5, 6, sometimes 10 episodes recorded at times where we're way far ahead, and into the holidays, I kind of let that go a little bit. And then I realized, this is a great opportunity for me to get real one-on-one with my audience. And you guys, I want you to engage with the show. So if you're watching this on YouTube, write a comment. Tell me what you love about the show, maybe some of the past episodes that you've tuned into, what you'd like to see going forward. Send me a direct message on Instagram or Facebook, or you can email me at mike@socialchameleon.us and let me know what you think of the show. I'd love to hear your feedback. This is not me just talking at you. I want it to be more of a conversation. So doing this a little different this week, getting out of my comfort zone, and I appreciate you being here along for the ride. So special thanks to you again, my subscribers, the audience tuning in every single week and supporting the show. Even if you tune in once, right? Thank you for that. You gave me your time and attention, which is highly valuable. It's the most valuable asset you can give someone is attention. And thank you guys for doing that today in the moment and in any of the past episodes that you guys have tuned in. Really appreciate that. If you haven't already, press that subscribe button. It's going to help you out with getting more content. Obviously, hit that notification bell. So when a new episode comes out, you're notified directly and you can tune in. And that same thing goes for Apple Podcasts or however you're tuning in, whatever your favorite audio platform is. When you subscribe and turn on the notifications, you're going to get those heads up when the new content comes out. If you're wondering, hey, what is the mission of Mic'd Up? What is this show all about? You're tuning in for the first time, or maybe you haven't heard me talk about my mission statement for the show. Very, very simple and very, very concise. It's to inspire people, you, the audience, to be brave and bold in pursuit of your dreams. What the heck does that mean? So you have this dream inside your heart since you were 5, 10 years old, 15, 25, whatever the age is, 57, it doesn't matter. And you got this thing that you want to do, and you're kind of like me today saying, hey, I wanted to do a solo episode and I've been pushing it off because it's uncomfortable. And well, I want you to get out of your comfort zone. What is that thing that's the heart tug that you've been wanting to do? Me interviewing my guests and talking to you like this one-on-one, I want that to encourage you to think about what that heart tug is. And then whatever resources you need to go out and do that. It may be starting a company, whether it's starting a new sport or instrument or doing something different with your free time, reading books, whatever it is, like pushing yourself and maybe something that you've wanted to do that you haven't done. I want this show to be an encouragement for you. Listen to the guest stories and see how their backgrounds are all different. But a lot of times there's these common denominators. And when you're listening to the show or watching it, I want you to think, how does this apply to me? How can I apply what this person is saying? And how can I go and do that and write my own story? Right? So that's the mission of Mic'd Up right there, to inspire my audience to be brave and bold in pursuit of their dreams. We've been doing that for over 100 episodes. And if you're tuning in and want more content of Mic'd Up, go to mic'duppodcast.com. It's MIKED uppodcast.com. And that takes you right to my link tree, and it's going to let you tune in however you guys want to continue to tune into the show. You get to choose. And there's also a link on there for my Patreon account. I set that up as a way to reinvest back into the marketing of this show to reach more people and help more people. Again, I just told you what the mission of the show is. If 5 people listen, then my reach is going to be much smaller, and the impact of helping people and inspiring people to do these great things with their lives is going to be limited. If I can get to more people with more marketing, obviously that's a win for everybody, for the new people tuning in, for you continuing to see great guests on the show. So you can give as much as you want, but obviously as little as $1 per month. I'm not asking you to, do anything crazy here, but if you wanted to, by all means. And if you don't want to, that's fine too. The content's coming at you free. You choose if you want to pay for it or not. It's kind of like Radiohead back in 15 years ago, and they released an album for free, but you got to choose if you wanted to pay for it on their website. It's the same kind of idea. If you want to throw me a thank you, I love it. And what's even more impactful than you may think is leaving a review, because I check those from time to time. And when I see that someone's tuning into the show, loving it, and just being lit up by the interviews and the content and the guest, right? And then you're telling me a little bit about how you've applied it or how it's meaningful to you. That's what lights me up. That's what gets me doing the show every single week with like the energy of it. Episode 1. I come to this show every time I do an interview, literally with that same energy. And it's because of you. It's because of these messages that I've gotten on social media and the guests' energy as well. That's what makes this fun. Like, I do not have to do this show. I want to do this show. I get to do this show. It's a blessing to be able to do this show every week. One thing I'm proud of, by the way, and this was never really maybe intentional from the beginning, is that every single week since launching on November 4th, 2019, every single consecutive week I've put out a show. Through adversity, through the loss of family members, through, businesses highs and lows, through the Man of the Year campaign for LLS, where I was putting in a ton of time and energy that I didn't have really. My point is I always found a way, and I built a team around being able to do this so I can continue to give and deliver that content to you. Now it's a little bit of a challenge, like it's a self-challenge. Like, I'm going to, whatever the record is, I'll figure it out. I'll research it, and I want to hit that number. But really, it goes back to the mission. It's every time I put out content, if it helps one person, I know that I'm serving my purpose through my God-given talents to help one person, it's worth it. I will do it every single time. If it's 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, 1,000,000 people, obviously the larger the number, the more impact we can make. And so that's why I do this every week. And that's why I'm super excited to actually say I can do this every single week and deliver a new message, a new guest consecutively. That's powerful. And I want to thank you guys, especially those that have been there with early support, encouraging me to do the show, because it's you that has given me the fire. Myself, I have my own fire too, but it's the collective fire of people who enjoy the show, who've encouraged me, who've given me recommendations for guests. It's all coming together. That's the fire of Mic'd Up. And I just wanted to make sure that I thanked everybody, and you guys know who you are, who've been along for the journey. A shout out to Social Chameleon. That's a shameless plug right here. That's a company I started back in 2017. Just to give you a little backstory, originally it was a marketing and media company where we were doing full scope, like website design, Facebook pages, Instagram accounts, like any kind of marketing that was digital marketing, we were involved at some level, including creating content. Got into podcasting when I was helping out a friend of mine, Dave Mamano. Shout out to Dave. And learned a little bit about the podcasting production side of things, and really fell in love with it, and then decided, and was encouraged by a friend of mine, Jackie Roach, to launch my own show. And once I had this, heart tug, and I felt called to do it, I realized I was on the right path. And then I launched in November of 2019 and have done over 100 episodes of my own show. But what happened was I started working on podcasts for friends and clients in my own show and getting really great at it. And then one of my clients that was paying us to do other work for them, video testimonials, they hired us to do our first podcast. That was my first client. And then from there, we've grown the show over the last year and a half, and it's been incredible to see the growth. So now Social Chameleon is primarily a podcast production and distribution company. And I got to give a huge shout out to our team, Randall, Samantha, Todd, and Nate. And you guys can learn more about Social Chameleon at socialchameleon.us. Go there, check out our work, check out what we do for you. Obviously, it's audio and video podcast, just like the one you're listening to or watching right now. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the crazy last 2 years, right? Recording this in January 2022, realizing that people can listen to this anytime in the future. But to put it on a timeline, it's January 2022. So we went through 2019, 2020, 2021, so 2-3 years of dealing with adversity through COVID, right? And so I just want to send love to those who have lost family members, close friends to COVID. I lost my grandmother. She was in her late 80s, but she went through a battle with COVID at the end. And after dealing with dementia, it got the best of her when she was already weak. And my father passed away in December of last year, of 2020. And he was only 69, battled through many crazy situations in his life medically that he's always been strong enough to come back through and bounce back from, including cancer. He had colon cancer, came back from that. Look, he worked at Ford for 32 years, and we always say he's built Ford tough, and he is, and he was. But his immune system in his last couple of years was very low, and look, a virus that's like COVID is dangerous, to someone in that situation. And so he went to the hospital in December 2020. And after a week of fighting on basically a breathing oxygen machine, and he didn't make it. So I understand, when we see COVID on the news and all this stuff, there's a lot of talk, and there's people that are, into the politics of it. But I just want to give a genuine, heartfelt, sending you love right now. If you're listening to this and it's hitting your heart because you know someone or directly have lost a family member, I'm sending love to you, right? Let's take this moment to honor those that we lost and continue to live through our story and, anything we can take from their lives, encouragement that they've given us or impact that they've given us directly. And we can honor them by living it through our own lives and our stories and continuing their legacy, which is really cool. So, and hey, look, I know there's business owners that had to close their doors because they're foot traffic businesses, and they just got killed by this whole thing where, you couldn't have foot traffic for X amount of months, and up to years in some places. And so they had to restart. So there's people right now, it's a new year, but there's a fresh start. And that's exciting. It's scary and it's crazy. It's breaking up, families and all kinds of stuff. So just want to make sure that we're getting through this together. It's a fresh start for everybody. So that's what's always exciting about a new year. We'll talk a little bit about 2020 in a second. This is what I wanted to get to from earlier. So shout out to Jackie Roach. She's my first guest on Mic'd Up. Also, she made a repeat appearance recently, so check out both of those interviews. She was episode 1 and you got to check it. It was a couple episodes back, like 112, 113, and that'll be in the show notes as well if you want to go ahead. And if you're on YouTube, you can click through and you can check those interviews out. But why am I giving Jackie Roach another shout out on the show? Because she deserves it. She's one of the people who encouraged me to launch in 2019 to get started. Also, a huge shout out to a friend of mine, Amberly Lago, who's absolutely one of the most inspiring people I've ever met. She has a crazy story. I'm going to link that up here as well and put it in the show notes to her story about overcoming a life-altering accident on a motorcycle where she nearly died and nearly lost her leg and was able to keep it through like 30 plus surgeries, just a crazy situation. She's become a friend of mine and she's inspired me to do this one-on-one conversation with you as well today. So she's done it. I think she did it for her 100th episode. So congratulations, Amberly, for that. She also interviewed her husband, which was something that was kind of different and uncomfortable because it's kind of peeling back the layers again and like an inside scoop into real life. And so Amberly, you've encouraged me. If you're listening to this right now, thank you so much for what you've meant to this show and to me as a person and your inspiration through your story. Even when you don't realize I'm watching what you're doing, and I'm inspired. The way that you lead your life for your audience and for your family is truly amazing. Also, Randall Sylvie, our editor on Mic'd Up. Shout out to Randall. He does a fantastic job. He's also a team member at Social Chameleon. We love having him on the team. He's a huge asset to the team. He's also said, Mike, dude, quit this, hiding in the corner thing and just doing the interviews. Like, you need to do this one-on-one thing with your audience and like do it now. So what better time to do it than the beginning of a new year? So thank you, Randall, for the extra push. Also, Dr. Jamil Sayed, he's my coach. He's a friend of mine. I had him on the guest. He's a fantastic human being. He's just a great person, and much love to him for giving me encouragement to also step out of my comfort zone and do this first solo episode. So I want to just make a note here. I do love interviewing people and will continue to do that. And it's one of my favorite things I get to do every single week. Here's why. It's all about shining the spotlight on great people and great stories that inspire you, as I mentioned 100 times already, probably. But really, what I enjoy is like when I'm reading their backstory and doing my homework before I interview someone, I'm always trying to figure out what we can hit on and touch on that's going to help you out. So I'm thinking about you first, right? And like the guest may want to like pitch their product or their service, and they know when they come on my show, it's about getting real, peeling back the layers so we can find things in their story that can inspire you. And that's why I really love doing it. And then I kind of get out of the way and my intentions is to let the guest shine. That's why I'm kind of flipping it this week. And it's really me talking to you directly. So let's move on. And I want to talk a little bit of, even though it's uncomfortable, talk about myself for a second. Some of you know I'm a Buffalonian, born in Buffalo, New York, born and raised here. I got my 36th birthday coming up in a couple of weeks, and January 16th, I'll be 36. Starting to feel a little crazy because I have a 6-year-old daughter. So now I'm like, having that like midlife thing going on, but it's exciting. Like I'm 36, or will be 36, but I have the energy of like, a 6-year-old as well and a 16-year-old, and just the things I love doing and creating. Just love that you guys are here for it and support it and want to see more creativity coming from me. And that's what I'm going to continue to deliver on in the new year. I'm a huge Bills and Yankees fan, born and bred, like I said, right here in Buffalo, New York. The Bills are our hometown team. And also my father has been a Yankees fan since he was a little boy. And he taught us, myself and my brother growing up, about every great Yankees player in the history of the game, what the team has meant to sports in general and especially the game of baseball. So Bills and Yankees are both super heavy on my heart. And as I'm releasing this episode to you, the Bills are back to the postseason. We got a great team, a great head coach, a phenomenal, like freak quarterback in Josh Allen, who's an absolute warrior. Love those teams. If you've heard the term Bills Mafia and you're wondering what the heck that's all about, maybe you're not a sports or Bills fan or football fan, I encourage you to check out my interview with Del Reed, who's actually the founder of 26 Shirts, and him and a couple friends are the ones who coined that term Bills Mafia. And it came from a great place. It actually came from a charitable cause first before people were jumping through tables and being crazy Bills fans. So if you're wondering about that, I wanted to make sure I got it out because it's a great story about people coming together and what they've created, this movement, and let that inspire you too. It doesn't have to be sports, but somebody started something with a group of friends that has now become what the team and, announcers in football and all the players in football call our sports fans in Buffalo Bills Mafia, right? Like four people changed that entire, we're not just Bills Nation or Bills fans, we're Bills Mafia now. And it came from a great cause. So what can you do that can change something that astronomical over the last couple of years? Think about it, right? Also, something to know about myself. Since I was a little guy, I've always loved movies, storytelling, and I absolutely love music. I've been drumming since I was about 10, 11 years old. I love early 90s music, grunge, big Red Hot Chili Peppers fan, Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, huge Led Zeppelin fan, the Beatles. So I love classic rock, the Beach Boys, stuff that just has got great riffs and great catchy songs that you can enjoy. To me, entertainment is supposed to be enjoyable. I'm not a big horror movie guy. I do like thrillers, but if it's just like scary, gruesome stuff, that's not me. To me, I want to be entertained, right? So I love great music, great movies, a lot of 80s stuff, the nostalgic, like Steven Spielberg movies. I'm a big E.T. fan. Love Jurassic Park. I think it's still the greatest dinosaur movie since it was created. There's been a lot of bad movies that have come after it. What Steven Spielberg did in 1992 with the limited technology was absolutely brilliant. From a drumming standpoint, when I play the drums, it's like I'm on a different universe, on a different planet even. I just go into this just this different world. Don't know how to explain it. If you guys have seen me perform live, you probably can tell that I'm in a different spot because I am. I just love the feeling of music, the way it feels to connect with other people, and it's a language. It feels amazing when you create something new, and it's great playing, collectively with a band. So I love drumming. My favorite drummer of all time is John Bonham from Led Zeppelin. No surprise there for any music fans why I would say that. His bombastic beats are something that I haven't heard replicated ever before. Before him, after him, I'm a big Buddy Rich fan. I know that John Bonham took his jazz drumming and turned it into a kind of a inspired rock with a little bit of funkiness to it. He's a groove drummer. Absolute fantastic groove drummer. I love Chad Smith from the Chili Peppers because he's in a similar way. He plays the part, but always does these little, special things, especially live. He's just so much fun to watch. A couple other things about me, just to give you kind of the bullet point of who I am, kind of the profile on mic, behind mic'd up. I'm a Christian, right? And recently, was baptized again. I was baptized as a Catholic when I was an infant, and then recently decided a couple of years ago, actually, to get baptized in the Christian faith. I was called to Life Church Buffalo. I'll give them another shout out in a moment when I go through my list of things I'm grateful for. Also, in the last couple of years, I've gone to a full plant-based diet, mainly because of animal welfare and, in fact, the animal cruelty side of the meat industry. I know some people are maybe not going to agree with me on that. That's cool. Hey, can we at least agree to disagree? But also, can you understand where I'm coming from a compassion standpoint and why I would say that? I don't think it's too crazy if somebody says that they're not happy about the animal cruelty. I think every human being with a heart can agree with me on that. So animal welfare initiatives, I'm all about it. I have an entrepreneurial spirit, both in creating my company, my podcast, helping others with their businesses as well. I've been a part of many mastermind groups and I love connecting with other business owners and entrepreneurs. And I broke free from corporate America. A little bit of my story there is in 2017, I went through a divorce. I was married for 6 years at that time, had a 2-year-old daughter, our beautiful daughter, Isabel. and decided to go in two separate directions. It was pretty much mutual. There were, things that were underlying for a few years that kind of created this wedge that was not fixable in our eyes. We made that decision to go two separate ways, but it also allowed me an opportunity, being uncomfortable again, to grow, to get back to being Mike again. I kind of, and this wasn't something that in marriage, my ex-wife didn't tell me to be a particular way or do a particular thing or nothing like that. It just, I'm thinking you could probably relate to this if you're married, and, you may start to get a little bit away from some of the things you're passionate about because you have life, you have responsibilities. And I'm not saying you have to, I'm not saying it's right. There's no excuse for it, but it happened to me. And so once I kind of broke free and there was a little bit more time created on my calendar, I decided to start a company and do something that was in my heart for a long time, that I was not up to that point able to just be like, hey, I'm doing this today, making an executive decision for the family. Wouldn't work. You have to be smart about it and understand when you're able to do something like that. And for me, this was my opportunity. So in 2017, I started Social Chameleon. As you know, later on, in the last couple of years, we pivoted to a full-time podcast production and distribution company, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show. A couple other things about me is I love supporting causes, like I said, animal rights, but also what about human rights, right? So human trafficking and sex trafficking are two topics. As much as I can, I'm always researching to see different groups and different people or organizations that are coming out to help people who have either experienced it or to prevent this from happening. It's actually, I believe, the second largest crime in the USA, right? I think drugs is 1 and sex trafficking is 2. Doesn't get talked about. That's something to note, right? That doesn't feel right. The fact that it kind of gets swept under the rug as much as it does. So I encourage everybody, read up and learn about what's going on right here in our country. If you're listening in the US, it's happening right here. It needs to stop, and more people need to stop pretending it's not happening. So that's something I'm passionate about. That's kind of me in a nutshell. Everything I talked about: music, movies, podcasting, entrepreneurship, being a dad. It's my favorite role that I get to do every single day, is being a dad to my beautiful 6-year-old daughter, Isabel. If you guys follow me on social, all the links are in the show notes, but you'll see on Instagram in particular, I love highlighting our times together because being her dad is amazing, and she's she's my greatest inspiration. So just a huge shout out to Isabel as well. Hey, maybe you're listening, Isabel, later on in life when you're interested in listening to the podcast. And if you are, know that you make me proud every single day, and that you're the greatest inspiration for me doing this show right now in the moment. Importance of being real, guys. I put this, we could do real like REAL or REEL if you're thinking about Instagram reels. Here's what I've learned, right? There is a time and place for well-edited, EQ'd, mixed, mastered videos and products, right? I'm all about it. I have a media production degree from Buffalo State College, right? I produce with my team podcasts. We produce content. We make it look and sound great, right? So I'm in that industry, and I'm telling you, it's not always every single time you do something, does it have to be delivered in that format or in that way. I'm thinking about like Gary Vee, right? The guy's always putting content out. And a lot of times he'll be like in the back of a car, or he'll be in a taxi, or, walk into his next appointment, and he thinks of an idea and he says it in the moment. And I want to encourage you to think more about doing that, including myself, doing more of these transparent, a lot of times women feel like they have to maybe put makeup on before post. Don't even feel like you have to do that. I'm thinking about a situation where there's actually someone who was growing their following like crazy, and she used to just do all these videos, her hair's in a ponytail and she's wearing like a sweatshirt, whatever. And her following blows up. And then she started to get overproduced and like only do stuff in studio or whatever. And her following kind of started to flatline a little bit because the things that people loved about her, that like connection, getting into her life, the behind the scenes feel, started to go away. So that's something I need to remember and realize. And I have realized it now, and I'm sharing it with you, because don't feel that you have to be overproduced and overpolished to put content out. It's actually less engaging too. Like the numbers show it. I think of Sarah Grace Hollis, now a friend of mine. She's going to be my next guest on Mic'd Up. She is a TikTok influencer who has this incredible story about the adversity she's been dealt over the last couple of years with being a single mom now. She was married and her ex-husband didn't even know that they were pregnant, I believe. And then they went through this divorce. I'm going to let her share the story on the show. And she shares her inspiration, and her realness every single day with her following. People love it. And that's why she has over 500,000 followers in TikTok, because she's real and people connect with it. So guys, get started. Number one thing I can encourage you to do is create a plan. Like if you think about like a paper airplane, don't just crumble it or put it together and like just hope that it flies. Like that's maybe being reckless. Build it, have a game plan, understand where you want to go, get the thing in the air, and then you can look at it and be like, oh, it keeps flying right because the one wing is shorter than the other wing. So now I can adjust. You would never know to make that adjustment if you didn't put the plane in the air. Like the Wright brothers had to try a bunch of times until they perfected getting a plane off the ground for the first time. So it's the new year. We've talked about it. Now I want to actually get into it. Why I love the new year. It's the blank pages mindset. Writing our story one page at a time. And think about it this way. When we reflect and we realize that a page is written and maybe we're not proud of it, right? It's something you've done, a bad day, a bad moment. But realize that we can change the narrative. We can write that next page, right? Doesn't mean that history is deleted necessarily, but it means that we've corrected, we've course corrected, and we've gone on, and we can be the change that we wish to see in the world when we get mindful about it, we think about it. I've made plenty of mistakes in my life, and the best thing I can do is adjust and update and be a better version of myself, and then go and put that out into the world. And the other stuff still exists, but it's in the past. I'm today. I'm doing the thing in the moment with you right here, right now. And so just realize that, God willing, we get the next day, the next blank page, we get 365 of those. So that's what I want to encourage you to remember. And if you feel like, hey, we're 4, 5, when this comes out, maybe a dozen days into the new year, well, guess what? There's still plenty of time. And just take it one page at a time and write your story. All right. So top 5 things I'm most grateful for from 2021. Here we go. All right. Social Chameleon, we've 10x'd from our first podcast client to now our 15th. The number is probably even larger than that as you're tuning in, but our 15th now, where we started a show from scratch and built it up to what it is. It's my favorite thing to do. And I just love helping people do it. And yeah, we went from 1 to 15 in a very short window, pivoting again, as I mentioned, from a media and marketing company to a dedicated podcast production company. So that's a huge win in 2021 and going into the new year. The team literally went from me, myself, and I to Nate, Todd, Randall, Samantha, and I. So that's huge for me to celebrate, that it's no longer all about me. It's not. Social Chameleon is not Mike DiCiocio. It's the collective group. It's the company. This is a big one too. So number 2, finally took some much needed R&R, rest and relaxation time. You guys know me. If you know me well, you know I don't take time off very often. And when I work, I'm typically putting in, those 12, 15-hour days. And so for me to take time off freaks me out. So I finally decided back in July, I had my daughter for a week, and I planned a vacation around that to do something cool, do something special with her. And my sister and I planned on bringing her to Disney for the first time. And we also got our mom to come with us to go down to Florida. And we went to go visit my brother and sister-in-law in Lakeland, Florida. And I took the week off. I made sure everything that I had to deliver on for my clients was already done before I left. And I literally didn't even bring my computer with me. It was the first time I was away from my computer since starting the company. And it was uncomfortable as you know what. And it was amazing at the same time. But it was in my head, I was like having this crazy balance. But that was number 2, because I finally decided I needed that R&R time with myself, with my family. So shout out to Wally and Bridget, my brother and sister-in-law, for hosting us for a week in July. We also got to take Isabel to Disney for her first time ever. We have great memories and moments that I'll cherish forever from that trip and just being able to do that. So shout out to my mom as well for everything that she provides for the family and continues to help me with supporting Isabel. I'm a single dad, and it takes a village really when you're raising a kid. And so my mom's been a big part of that. My sister's been a big part of that. Wally and Bridget have been a great part of that as well. And this Christmas, I took another week off. So the second time in 1 year that I've actually taken time off to be with Isabel one-on-one. And I did it during Christmas, and that felt amazing as well. So shout out to everybody there, my family, and Izzy again. Here's a big one, guys. Number 3, really probably could be number 1, right? Health. Without it, you don't have anything, right? You can have all the money in the world. You can have all the wealth. If you don't have your health, what does it mean, So I finally got real with myself and knew that I had to do something about my health. And number 1 is I was not feeling well. My gut health was off for years, and I finally decided to do something about it. Actually, I'm going to give a shout out to my ex-girlfriend, Lindsay, who she was going to a dietitian at Buffalo Nutrition and Dietetics. I think I'm saying that right. But I work with Erica over there, and she's fantastic. She actually has helped me. She worked with me one-on-one throughout the entire year to finally get to the bottom of what is going on with my gut. And I had to figure this out because I, for years, have been sick all the time. My family was they're sick of me being sick. They're just like, every time we go out with Mike, it's going to be a problem and whatever. So I was in constant discomfort after meals, and it was actually impacting my ability to stay focused with my company and my productivity. And I literally forgot what it felt like to be normal, just to feel normal. Something I forgot what that feels like. So why do I share this in this personal story with you is because Erica, she worked with me and she took detailed notes every single time we talked. We did 1-hour sessions every single month. And she would provide me amazing feedback, insights, and recommendations. And guess what? They actually worked, most importantly, what she told me to do and the different things she had me take and try, and the elimination diet that we did to start it all actually worked. And she had a similar gut issue that I had. And so I knew I was working with someone who got it, and she understood, and she came with it from that caring mindset. And I knew she was being real with me. And so incredible shout out to Erica and the whole team over there for helping me finally get right and eat the right foods and eliminate the wrong things that are hurting me. That's a big part of what's changed in 2021. All right, here's a huge shout out. Dr. Jamil Sayed, you guys have heard me mention him a couple times earlier. He's been a guest on the show. I'm going to say he's my coach now. I work with him as my personal coach and business coach as well. And here's what I'll tell you. Mindset matters. He's helped me get these little details, things that may seem mundane or just an everyday thing. The little details of daily life, he helps make them and turn them into a massive difference. So think of it like this. Like he can take a singular situation. He did this for me yesterday, and I provide him these like real life situations that I'm dealing with. He dissects them and always finds a way to get to the good in it. And then he finds a way that it can serve me and also turn into a positive purpose. Like he's the real deal. And so thank you, Dr. Jamil. You are the real deal. That should be your slogan. You're an amazing person, doctor, coach, and you're a great man. And I'm honored to have you as a friend and a brother. Thank you, Dr. Jamil. And also a shout out to Navigator Bookkeeping. They are my bookkeeping service that I use for Social Chameleon. They've been doing a fantastic job for the entire year. We've been working with them now or close to it. Shout out to Nate, the founder and CEO at Navigator Bookkeeping. I'm going to tell a little bit of my personal story. I'm going to do that with this quick highlight that's helped me over the past year. Hey guys, it's Mike. I'd like to give a proper shout out to Navigator Bookkeeping. Look, for a long time, I ran my business without really understanding the full financial picture. I used my gut and my bank account balance to make decisions, which led to some poor choices and constant stress over my business's finances. I knew something needed to change. At the beginning of 2021, I made a decision that helped pave a more clear path for my business. I started working with Navigator Bookkeeping. Since then, my bookkeeping has been handled for me. I now understand the full financial story of my business, making important financial decisions much easier now and it helps me plan for where my business is going. I highly recommend giving Navigator Bookkeeping an opportunity to help your business. Check them out at navigatingyourbooks.com. Again, that's navigatingyourbooks.com. It's time to know the full financial story of your business. All right, let's keep the gratitude flowing right now. So another shout out to, this is the bonus shout out, Life Church Buffalo. That's my church family. And they've really taken me in. It's my brothers and sisters that I serve with. They've just been an amazing source of positive energy as well in my life. I get to be on the production team. And I say I'm blessed to be on this production team. It's a top team. Like the people that are there, they not only know what they're doing, they're excellent at it. And the team atmosphere, and just when I'm able to serve with them, like I know that we're on purpose again. It's that whole thing of like knowing that we're not doing it for us. Yeah, it's fun. We enjoy doing it, but we're doing it for Him. We're doing it for God. We're serving. Like the people who are there experiencing the messages, like we're a part of serving that up. And in our service, it lights you up because you're on purpose for what you're supposed to be doing and what we're called to do and what we're gifted to be able to do. So Life Church Buffalo is a big part of my family. And I'm actually utilizing my Bachelor of Arts degree in media production, something that I'm passionate about. And also now, here's a huge one too. In 2021, I got behind the drum kit again. Now, I've been practicing, here and there, and over the last X amount of years. I mean, I played from age 10, 11 until like 27 years old, playing out with different bands. And I was in every single school band growing up, jazz band, wind ensemble, marching band, rock bands, you name it. And now I'm in a worship band at Life Church Buffalo. I get to drum, and I had my first moment doing that in October. And Isabel got to be there for it. So she got to experience a live worship set with me on the drums. I was on the kit, and she was there just soaking it up. And that was one of my greatest highlights of my entire life. I just want anyone who was there to experience it to know that. And it's something that just felt so good because, again, I was serving and she was experiencing that. And it was really cool to have that moment with her. This is like a bonus that should really be listed as number one. The big man, God Himself, for all the daily blessings that I receive. I'm grateful for every single day, every single moment. For Him giving me the opportunity to serve for Him, through Him, every single day. So let me wrap this thing up here. I know I've been going. I don't even know how long I've been going. And thank you guys, to everyone who's sticking with me all the way to the end of this episode. If you haven't already, remember you can press the subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you're notified every single time new episodes are released. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite audio-only podcast apps, you can subscribe there as well so you get the notifications when new episodes come out. I want you to know, this video and all my recent interviews have been recorded via riverside.fm. It's a really cool service. I've been extremely happy with them, with the quality especially, and the service. Anytime I have a question, they get back to me same day. They're fantastic. If you're looking for an easy-to-use solution for high quality alternative to, say, Zoom or the other ones, I'm not trying to throw Zoom, say they're bad or anything, but if you're not happy with the quality over there and you want something that's more professional, audio, video, this is the way to go. It's professional quality. Check them out, riverside.fm. And I actually have a link in the show notes that you can go directly to them to check out their services. Super affordable and worth every penny that we pay for it. So kind of center myself again, get back to the purpose of doing the show. I want to continue to write my story, and I will do that daily. I want to encourage you to continue to write your story. The blank pages, connect with people, lift them up, right? Be the change. I want you guys to inspire change within yourself, your families, and your communities. And remember to inspire greatness. And what you do, other people are watching. They may not tell you. They may knock you down in the process, but you can inspire greatness. And always remember to be you, because everybody else is taken. There's only one of you. You get to be that person. It's amazing, isn't it? And I'm going to say the last two things. Anybody who's listened to the show at least once knows how I wrap up. Be great and be grateful. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Got so many exciting guests coming out in 2022 in the new year. I'm here for it. I'm super excited. Shout out to every single guest who's been on the show from episode 1 to episode 114, and this one is episode 115. Grateful for all of you. Please, again, go to my social media in the show notes. Connect with me if you haven't already. Send me a DM. Please leave a review if you love the show and you've tuned into it and it's something that you keep coming back to for great guests or great insights. I'd love to hear it. I mean, if you're doing that already, take the 35 seconds it might take you to go to Apple and write a quick review. It means more to me than you actually would know. And then obviously the Patreon thing, if you want to leave a quick tip, and it could be $1, it could be more than $1, whatever you guys want to do. I'm reinvesting the 100% of that into marketing the show to get a larger audience and continue to build this and grow it from the ground up. So cheers, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Let's have a prosperous 2022. We're all in this together. Thank you so much for coming along the way.